Right then, let's just clear up a few underlying issues here before we carry on with this video. Many of you will have realised that over the past few weeks I've been slowing down the videos, and the reason for that is no, I'm not quitting YouTube, but I am taking a break. In the first quarter of 2014, after this video, I'm heading all the way to Africa for a few months, and I'm going to do voluntary work there, amongst other things, but I won't be doing any videos for obvious reasons. So I'm going to take a break, I'm going to relax, I'm going to refresh, I'm going to recharge my batteries. I've been doing this for 3.5 years, every week, non-stop. So I'm just going to take a bit of a breather, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to smash it out. Probably around April time is when I'll be back, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to be refreshed and motivated. But this is the last video until April. I'm sorry about that, but I'm off to Africa. So I was sat about in the Into the Barrier production office, otherwise known as my bedroom, thinking what I could do for the finale before I go to Africa. So I decided to see if I could win a race from the back of the field. So we're in Monaco now, I'm at the back of the field against everyone, and I'm going to try and win this race from this position. So we go towards turn one now, I need to be very aggressive here. Oh god no, that's far too aggressive, I've smashed about everyone off, and I'm in the wall, and I'm going to have to take it a bit more cautiously than that. So after a restart, we begin again, and I do need to take the first corner a lot more cautiously. Now, we need to watch out for spray here, because are you seeing what I'm seeing? Because I'm seeing nothing as we approach turn one. There's just spray all over my face. There's just spray all over my face. There's just spray all over my face. Spray all over my face. Yeah, I will concede that sounded better in my head. Definitely. But anyway, we're going through turn one now, and I'm taking it a lot more cautiously. I'm up into P17. I've avoided damage to the front wing. I'm getting tagged by Ricardo behind me, the Australian. But I've avoided too much theatrics there as we get to the top of the hill now. Going around the outside of Adrian Sullivan. He's quite far ahead of me. And I'm into his back wheel, and I've spun out, and it's a massive calamity. Oh no, I've caused a blockage. There's a blockage in the system, and that blockage is me. And it's going to have to be a restart. It was after several more restarts that I decided it's impossible to do that in the rain in Monaco. So I decided to do it in the dry in Monaco. So here we are back in the grid again, and we've set off again, and it's Charles Peake and Van der Gaard just ahead of me again, and Bianchi's just ahead of those two, and we're approaching turn one now, so we're going to be careful on the road to turn one here, very careful, and I haven't actually made up any positions yet. Now I'm up into P21, so I've gained one position. We've got about 4 abreast just in front of me. Hopefully they'll collect each other. Peake's lost time, and I'm now down to scoot it up his outside, but that hasn't happened. Now we're going around the outside of the top of the hill, and I've taken 4 cars in one corner, 5 cars in one corner, because Maldonado's been caught slacking, and now I'm going up the inside of Gutierrez and Sutil. Oh, I'm just cutting them up. They are getting 0 consideration from me as I barrel through the lot of them. Whoever that is ahead of me is next on my list. It's someone on a Toro Rosso. It's a Ricardo, so I'm smashing round his outside as we go towards the tunnel. I've got a warning for causing a collision, but the amount of f***s I give is absolutely 0 as we go through the tunnel now, and I'm behind I don't know what Bottas's first name is. Someone leave that in comments. It begins with a V. I've completely forgotten as I launch it down the inside. DeRest has just been spun out. You can just forget it, mate. I'm just not having it at all this race. I'm powering my way through, and you got in the way, so you paid the ultimate price. I have, if you haven't already realised, I've got the penalties on reduced or whatever it's called, because if I didn't, I wouldn't even have a chance. But I do have damage. Damage isn't visual. Damage is full. So if I lose my front wing, it's game over. But I'm not worried about that at the moment, because I'm going up the inside of Perez, and I've had him P11. Thank you very much. Half the field has been overtaken, but Perez is having a look back round my outside, but he's broken too early for turn one, and I will take P11. Next up is Button, and Vettel's leading the race. There's no surprises there, but I'm going to struggle to catch Vettel, actually, because he's getting quite far away from me, and my car's just so slow. It's horrendous. It's difficult to take. I actually almost contemplated being sick before doing this race, because my car is that slow. It's hard to take. But Jenson Button is next on the list, and the game thinks he's a second and a half ahead of me, but I reckon I've cut that down in the turning middle sector that we're going through now. We're going through the hill, and I've got a third of the bar occurs. I'm just about too far away for Slipstream, which is disappointing as we go through the tunnel. But I need to try and make sure I get him soon, because, well, I think top 5 is the best I could go for as I throw it completely down the inside there into the chicane, and I've left him, and Grosjean is next up. So that was a wild and rash move from me there, but Well, I'll take it, because the game hasn't given me that much of a punishment, because I obviously set the rules on whatever it was. But Grosjean is not having any of it. Have you seen that dismissive defence work from Grosjean there? He's absolutely furious with me, but I'm not allowing that to put me off as I launch it down his inside. But no, he's having none of it again. This Grosjean's proving tricky. I'm trying to get inside the top 10 here, of course. And I've smashed his rear end there, and I've gone round his outside into turn 1, and I've hit a bit of the barriers, and now Grosjean's having another go at me. Grosjean will not give up this position. Grosjean's had me back there, Button's sticking his nose in and getting involved, and this has now become a personal grudge match between me and Grosjean, because he's not having any of my moves. Button there going around the outside, but no, I've soon seen off him. But this is a personal Grosjean and Chilton grudge match now, because I'm not going to win the race, am I? Because I'm miles off, but I just need to make sure I beat Grosjean, because Grosjean's really beginning to wind me up. I've said Grosjean so many times in the last half a lap, I'm not going to say it again all race. So the Frenchman is ahead of me in the tunnel, and I need to make sure I whore his slipstream, which I'm trying to do. The braking zone of the next corner might be a position where I can actually gain time. I've gained lots of time. In fact, I've just thrown the front end of my car inside his gearbox. But I still haven't managed to get past him, which is rather worrying, in fact, because we're coming towards the end of the lap now, and I need to get past him very, very soon. I've got to nail every corner now. I've got serious front wing damage, but it's not that much of a disaster. I've cut that corner slightly. I need to go around his outside into this corner. I've hit his rear tyre, but no, I'm not going to manage it. No, I've messed it up. I've messed it up. I'm not gonna achieve this, and I've actually messed up the last corner quite catastrophically there. And Button's going to have a go around my outside, and I could finish 11th here. This is a disaster. Button's had me around the outside for straight line speed, and I've come home in 11th place. But my guy's thrilled, but I'm way, way down on the target. The game thinks I finished 10th, so we'll say, well, someone must have had a penalty that was ahead of me. But that's way down on my target of winning the race, and it was actually Grosjean, ironically enough, that had the penalty, so I did beat him, but I still finished way down the field. Thank you ever so much for watching. I will see you after Africa. Goodbye.